Hello and welcome to this edition of Turnaround Marriage Live. I'm so excited to dive in today with a subject that is really near and dear to our hearts, and it's some of the patterns that we see an awful lot in marriages. And I want to speak to the men out there today about 5 things that we see in honorable men that absolutely have to change because they're impacting their marriages in a way that is absolutely detrimental, and they may not even be realizing it. And so we're going to dive into that today. And so we want to encourage you, if you have not found us on Facebook yet, make sure you search Turnaround Marriage. You're going to find our coaching page. You're also going to find our private group. We've got about 1,600 people in there. We'd love to have you as part of that community. And you can find us both places by searching Turnaround Marriage. Also, you can find us on YouTube. All of our videos stream live there. And make sure you like and subscribe so that you get all of our updates on YouTube. So we're so glad that you're here with us today. And guys, this is one of those things, one of those subjects that we see it time and time again. And it's these traps that good, honorable, God-fearing, God-loving men are getting stuck. They're getting locked into, and maybe didn't even realize it. Maybe it happened over a period of time. And we see that what's happening with those patterns, with those decisions that they're making every single day, those mistakes that they're making, it is absolutely harming their wife, their marriage, their children in ways that they have maybe never even realized. So I want to dive into those 5 right away today. And number 1 is being disconnected. This is, and I don't put this, the reason I put this as number 1, and I'm sure the women out there would hear this and agree. And it kind of looks like this. Men, we see it an awful lot, are almost like afraid to open up with their wives. There's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of it is that they really, really, really care about what their wife says. And I've said to my wife many times, like, I don't really care what anybody else says. I mostly just care what you say. Your opinion of me really, really does matter the most, more than anything else. And so a lot of times men get to this place of being disconnected. They're trying to be nice. They're trying to crack jokes, but maybe they're even to this place of being stoic, or maybe they're working so hard. They come home at the end of the day and they've worked so hard that they just want to relax, and that should be appreciated unto itself. But the reality is they're not giving to their children or their wives what they actually need. And so, maybe it looks like, you're coming home and you actually are, even though you're tired, doing the dishes after the meal, or you're helping the kids with homework, or whatever it would be. Even that, if we're not careful, could potentially be disconnection. Because if we're so busy being busy, we forget what our spouses actually need most of all. What women need is for their hearts to be pursued by their men. It's just absolutely what they need. But I hear it time and time again. Men say things like this: I work so hard. I put food on the table for my family. I don't know why she doesn't appreciate that. Like, we've got a nest egg. We've got retirement that's coming. And they're building for the future, but they've forgotten about the present. And their wives are like, okay, that's great, but do you even love me? Are you even here for me? It happens all the time because men think, even if she's not appreciating it, one thing I can do is make sure I'm working harder and bringing home the bacon. And what you're actually doing is disconnecting from your wife, and it's hurting her, and it's got to change, and it's got to stop. And it might even look like, your wife looks really self-assured. She might even be a strong woman that oftentimes it's like, I just need to get out of the way. Like, she seems like she's got her act together. She's taking care of the kids, she's cleaning the house. Like, I don't even need to do much. She's just amazing. And it's almost like you take her for granted. And when you do that, you don't necessarily realize it. She's potentially building up animosity as she's working hard and being busy, that you're still not noticing, and you're still not connecting with her. And men, it's got to change. It's got to change. Number 2 is passing blame. We see this an awful lot too. It's almost like you don't even realize it, but you're seeing your wife acting in negative ways, or ways that hurt you. And then you're using any of their negatives, any of their sins, any of their brokenness, or any of their patterns, and almost like taking that as an excuse to be able to do what you want. And I mean, let's just look at our culture. Like, our culture even jokes about women being nags. Women only nag when she's hurting or disconnected. So whose fault is it? The fact that she's nagging, is it all on her? Or are you just passing blame, blaming her, and not realizing that you actually have played a part in it? I'm stepping on some toes there, man, but I know it's an important thing that needs to be said. It goes back to the curse, Genesis 3:12. Um, Adam, after they had sinned, Adam was hiding from God as if he could. And then God finally catches up to him as if he wasn't really having to chase him very much. But the man said, the woman, God, that you gave to be with me, she gave me the fruit of the tree and I ate it. What was Adam doing? Way back in the beginning, passing the buck, passing blame, and not only blaming his wife, but even more blaming God. And so, man, I just wonder, I want to ask you that question to think about. Are there ways that you've been passing the buck from your wife, from yourself and putting on your wife? Are there ways you've been passing the buck from yourself and blaming God? You know, maybe your wife, she seems angry and it's like, well, I guess because she's angry, you know, she's just, that's just who she is, and she's not going to make me happy, and she's not going to pursue me, she's not going to love me, so I guess I can almost do what I want, especially if it looks like she's withholding sex from you. And so then you now have an excuse in your mind. It's not right, it's not justified, that you're going to numbing, you're going to porn, you're going to even worse, like flirting with old flames, or connecting with women on the internet, or whatever it would look like. We see this time and time again, where men think, okay, she's this person, these circumstances are this way, and I have the right to just do what I want. And all of this, of course, is passing blame. And men, it's got to stop. It absolutely has to stop. Number 3, if it wasn't controversial enough yet, is this: stop being a woman. Yeah, I said it. If we think about it, and this is what I mean by that, women are uniquely made by God, beautiful beings, beautiful creatures that are wired uniquely the way that they are. And there's nothing wrong with that. But men, you are uniquely wired to be a man, which is very different than a woman. And the culture, if you look at any romantic movie, not to say that men can't be romantic, I'm not saying that, but if you look at any of the culture, it's essentially telling the men to be women. And where is it? One of the worst places we actually see it, I think, is in the church. It's like, men, stop being men. Be really in touch with your emotions, be an emotional being, cry and weep, and basically be a woman. And that's not how God wired us to be. And I'll give you an example of this. Like, I saw a video of this. I've been reading a lot about youth sports and parents behaving badly, and I've seen some of it with my own kids. But there was this bench of girls basketball team, and behind it there was this man that was like barking at these girls in front of him, like essentially calling them dogs. Horrendous. Like, what would you do if you saw something like that? If I'm speaking to the honorable men out there, I mean, it just made me angry seeing it. And the girl that's being barked at, she's the one that had to turn around and yell at the guy to stop doing it. She swore at him. And I'm thinking, where in the heck are the men that are standing up to this jerk, at very best, jerk, evil man? Where are the men? And I asked the same question. Where are the men in our culture? Where are the men in our homes? Where are the men in our families? Guys, your wife is uniquely designed to need a man who's going to be a warrior for her, not some little pansy that's going to sit on his hands and be in touch with his feminine side. No, she needs for you to step to the plate. Your kids need you to war for them. I guarantee you the enemy of their soul, and oftentimes the schools that they're in, are warring against them already, and you're too tired when you get home. Men, stop acting like a woman and be a man, and step to the plate and do and be what you need to be. Because in many, I don't even have to go on and on about this. You know what that looks like. The culture says, don't be a man. Don't act like a man. But that's who you are. That's how God made you, to stand strong and to be the one that's going to defend his wife's honor and defend her and defend the family. And it looks like strength. And I'm so tired of seeing weakness. And even sometimes from the pulpits. Men, it's time to be men. Number 4 is running away. Women are going to be shaking the bells at this. They're going to agree with us. You guys, We got to stop running away. I hear it all the time. I hear it all of the time. Men that say, well, I'm just averse to controversy or confrontation. I hear it like I would say 10, 15 times a week. As if this is true. I just can't handle conflict. I just have to go the other way. Guys, if that's our attitude, what are we going to do? We're going to just keep going down that path of disconnecting. I hear it from men all the time. Well, I got to go. I got to escape. I go to my man cave. I go to the garage, work in the car, drink a few beers, and you're just doing anything to escape, and you're running away from your God-given responsibility to be there for your spouse and to be there for your family. And so, guys, what are you doing? You might have a lot of reasons as to why you're running away. She seems mean. She seems like she's got an axe to grind. It seems like she just wants to fight with me. So why would your wife be pursuing you? It goes back to the fall. It goes back to the curse. Your desire will be for your husband. It is what was the curse for Eve, but for all women is that they really need their husbands. And so what are they doing? They're pursuing connection with you, and it might look not pretty. It might look like they're attacking you. And so you're going to start pushing away and running away and going to the other room and getting away from her. When in actuality, what she needs most of all in that moment is not for you to escape and disappear. What she needs in that moment is for you to engage. What she needs is for you in that moment to be there for her. And so it's counterintuitive. You think she wants her space. I hear that all the time too. No, she might say that. What she actually needs is for you to pursue her. So stop running away. In fact, what you need to do when you feel like you need to run away is actually do the exact opposite and to pursue your wife. And then everything will change. It's powerful when you do. That leads us to number 5, which is stop lying to yourself. And oh my goodness, I could do a whole subject about this, just this subject alone. So it might look like this. She's just this kind of woman. That's just who she is. And that's the cards I've been dealt, and it just sucks. And these circumstances suck. And that's just the way it is. God doesn't really care about me. He's made this circumstance for me. And it's just the way it is. Or it could look like this. Well, she doesn't really seem to appreciate what I do. I work so hard. I try to keep the house clean. I try to do my part and then some, and she doesn't appreciate it. And I guess, I'm just a failure at being a dad. I'm a failure at being a husband. That's just who I am. And that can really start to spiral into, I'm not worthy of love. It can spiral into, what is the point of living? What's the point of even being here? By the way, I've been there before. So I just want you to understand, guys, that in any type of lie that we're getting wrapped up into, you might need a friend to help call it out, by the way. We may not often be able to see it, but it can also look like this. It's really not that bad. What in the marriage, it's not that bad. It's going to resolve itself. It's going to get better. It's going to change when we finally get this money in. We're going to take away the financial stress. It's finally going to get better once the kids get out of the house, and then it will be just the two of us. It's finally going to get better when COVID is through. It's finally going to get better when we get the summer break. Like, we could go on and on about the what ifs. And the reality is, it's probably been a long time. And because of life happening, that it's not just going to get better on its own. And right along with it, guys, it's may feel like it's not that bad. And right along with it is that it's just going to get better on its own. We have to connect those two. And guys, you might be out there saying, it seems like this, we've been trying, like we've been really working hard to try to make this marriage better, to make it work, to really honor God with it. But it just seems like we keep getting stuck. And we could go back to this, because a lot of times men will think, and as do women, I'm trying, I'm praying, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but she's still mean. And she's the one that's not acting very nice. And so we can go back to all 5 of these and list them out again. But the reality is that totally true, that she's the one to blame. Of course it isn't. Of course it isn't. So if you're here and you're listening and you think, Scott, man, you hit on some great points today, and these make sense with me. They resonate with me, and I want to be that honorable man. I just have such a disconnect. You don't, and maybe you're even thinking there's so much pain that's happened, and you don't know my wife, and you don't know our circumstances, and you're right. But what I want to say to you out there is, if you're hearing this and you're realizing I need to be a better man, I need to honor my wife. I need to honor my kids. And most of all, I need to honor God with the way I'm showing up in my family and in life. If you're out there and you're realizing that it's not measuring up, and you need that encouragement, you need that support, you need that accountability, you need that know-how to get from where you're at to where you need to be, I want to encourage you to book a call with us. Whether your wife is going to hop on that call or not, let's get on the phone. You can go to turnaroundmarriage.com/call. We do a complimentary breakthrough call. We talk about where you're stuck, where you want to go, and a path to get there. And guys, if we can help you, we're absolutely going to make that path clear, because it is due time that the honorable men out there, men like you that are listening, and because you're listening, you are an honorable man. It's time for us to stand up and be the men that God has called us to be. Your wives are deserving of it. So are your kids. So is God. And so are you. So lots of love, my friends. I hope you have a great day. Until next time, we'll talk soon.